I don't think that's the case. In Mindanao, probably we experience a personal peace, probably shorter peace, but not necessarily a longer peace. I think that as an individual, it doesn't matter at all if you're black or you're white, you're a Filipino or you're an American, a Christian or a Muslim to experience peace. Because as an individual, as a human being, our individuality tells us and also gives us the right to experience peace. The idea of peace is what allows us to better understand people. It is what allows us to coexist, regardless of how multicultural our country is, regardless of how multilingual our country is. Because we don't always have to speak the same language. We don't always have to understand each other in terms of what we say. Because as long as we know that in our hearts we are already experiencing understanding and peace, we all know that it's already a good thing. Passing the Bangsamoro Basic Law has been in the process for 17 years. A lot of negotiations, a lot of compromises between the between the national government and the MNLF. All of these provisions, all of the annexes, has passed through certain crucial components. All of those things have considered the basic rights of not just the Filipino people, but even the Muslim community or the Christian individuals. Because we all know that it is a national issue. We all know that when we try to amend the Constitution properly and try to accommodate the Bangsamoro Basic Law, it will affect not only the sovereignty of our country, but even the basic rights and basic decency of everyone. For the past 2 decades probably, all our efforts have probably been trying to put forward peace. But all of those efforts were concentrated on trying to achieve short-term peace. Because a short-term peace is only trying to solve the current condition of our country. It only tries to solve the current problems without necessarily trying to look at the long-term repercussions of what kind of solutions that we need. Maybe it's about time to realize that the Bangsamoro Basic Law is the ultimate step towards having forwarded to that kind of long-term peace that we have so long been yearning for. Maybe the Bangsamoro Basic Law is the ultimate answer to all our problems, the ultimate answer to all our questions, and the ultimate hope to all our struggles for peace. It is very much understandable that the Bangsamoro Basic Law tries to prioritize the Muslim community. But it doesn't mean that if the Congress passes the Bangsamoro Basic Law, the other individuals will already be disenfranchised. It doesn't mean that if we pass the Bangsamoro Basic Law, the other individuals now will have no rights at all. Because the idea is, we have been living in an unequal playing field since the past. We have always tried to see the Muslim community trying to clamor for their rights because they have been inherently and culturally disadvantaged. Because they know that they are not receiving the rights that are due to them. They know that they are not receiving basic decency, which they know they deserve not just as a Muslim, but as a person. So if we pass the Bangsamoro Basic Law, finally, we don't always have to have certain efforts on trying to think critically. We don't always have to write, we don't always have to speak persuasively, and we don't always have to write analytically. Because we don't have to force people, we don't have to explain thoroughly, we don't have to explain for every constitution, for every annex, for every detail, that the passage will indeed lead to a longer peace in the Philippines. We just have to feel it. And with those kinds of feelings, we already know that the language of our heart, the language of our minds, the language of our soul, which is basically the composition of what every individual has, will basically let us understand that it is indeed right to experience long-term peace in Mindanao. And the ultimate solution to that kind of understanding, the ultimate solution to what I said, will lead to coexistence, to a multicultural and multilingual coexistence, is the Bangsamoro Basic Law. Because finally, after all the provisions, after all the compromises, which took so long for 17 years, all of the people now will only experience happiness. All of the individuals will experience the basic rights that they have been asking for the government. I'm 17 years old, and for so long, I've only been trying to complain about school, about studies, but I've never realized that some people are complaining about bigger things. Some people of my age, some people even younger than me, but the Muslim community are complaining because they know that they deserve something more, that happiness is almost impossible to achieve. But now, because of the Bangsamoro Basic Law, maybe their problems now will no longer be in terms of them being a person, but their problems now will probably become more short-term kind of problem, or be a spending kind of problem. Because at least we have achieved a kind of solution that will address a long-term problem, a problem that has mandated us to actually have a lot of solutions which are only for short-term, or which have probably not been effective in the past. Because of the Bangsamoro Basic Law, we know that we will be able to understand each other, and it is basically the long-term peace. Thank you very much.